Let's make some noise. Come on.
Yes, thank you very much, Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles, and welcome one and all to our first broadcast episode of our new week. Christmas week is upon us here at the Final Word on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. How's everybody doing on this lovely Sunday night, stress-free football Sunday night across the Delaware Valley as your two-time defending NFC East champ Philadelphia Eagles had the day off after yesterday's win over the Washington Commanders, and it's great to be back today as it is a Victory Sunday. And, of course, the conversation will be at the beck and call of the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. We'll get into that game. We'll get into the way ahead. We'll get into all the stuff that's pertinent about the Eagles as we sit here on the precipice of another Super Bowl run, potentially. So we'll talk about some Eagles football. Hot stove's heating up, man. Phillies were big-time movers this weekend in trying to sew up the bullpen, made a series of moves, bringing on some players, saying goodbye to a couple others, or one specific one. We'll get into some of that. We'll also update everybody around on the latest 100% across the board on every official hot stove move that's been made. There's been a bunch of them since the last time we did this. So we'll get into that. We'll get into some Flyers talk as they had an interesting weekend that sort of just puts everything into perspective again about where this team is, especially between the pipes as they really struggled yesterday in net. Sam Erston just continues to amaze me that why he's even got a job. Now, Alexei Kovalev was called up, but not because of Erston's play, but because of the injury to Dan Vladar. So maybe we'll get into some Flyers talk. And then, of course, Tim Saunders. Oh, man, I love it. I love it. The comment made while he thought he was off the air. Maybe we'll talk about some of that for a lighter note for the night. Your day in Philadelphia sports history, your of the night segment, and your card review. All that stuff here and more on the Final Word as we full speed ahead to Christmas. And how did we get to Christmas week already? And yes, happy first day of winter. Happy winter solstice to all of you who celebrate that. The shortest day of the year was today. So starting tomorrow, we start gaining a minute of sunlight a day. And that's always good for those of us who make our bones in the summertime, when it's nice out. And of course today, even though it's the start of winter officially, it's the step in the right direction towards getting back to summertime. So happy winter solstice, everybody. And I hope you celebrated wisely and safely on this Sunday afternoon. So there we go. Eagles don't deserve the East. Star Wars right off the bat. Star Wars, man, listen. Listen, by no means am I going to shy away from that. You have every right to feel that way, and we'll get into some of that tonight. As far as them winning the East, they do deserve it because they did it. They have no control over what the other teams in that division do in terms of building teams. They have no control over decisions that those other teams make. And the Eagles are a good football team. I just want everyone to understand that they're a very good football team. It's just that the way we talk about them, the way certain Eagles fans go on about them, they're the greatest thing that's ever existed. And that's not true. So, no, I think congratulations is in order. It's no easy feat to go out and win back-to-back division titles, and that is evident in this division where there has not been a back-to-back division title winner since the 03-04 Eagles. So in this division, the NFC East, it's definitely a harder feat to do, and you got to give credit where credit's due. 10-5 is 10-5. Now, does 10-5 lead to the ultimate prize, the dawn of an Eagle dynasty? Remains to be seen, right? We're at the beginning of that road right now, but they have checked the first box to get back to the Super Bowl, and that's to actually get to the playoffs by either, a wild card or division winner. So, yeah, I mean, you got to look at it and you got to give them the credit where credit's due. It's not giving the credit where the credit's due is where I have a problem with the Eagles, and where and not that I have a problem with them at all. It's just that Where my disconnect comes is the gushing from the fan base who believe that this team can do no wrong, which is far from correct. But no, congratulations is in order. Now we're going to dissect this game. All right, and we're going to look at the way ahead as far as the way I see it, because it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks as we get ready for the playoffs. Do they rest the players? Do they not rest the players? Buffalo next week. Now, this could look, I know a lot of discerning Eagle fans are looking at this Buffalo game as an opportunity to see for first and foremost, can the Eagles go toe-to-toe with the perennial, right? We haven't really, we've been dealing with the Raiders and the Commanders. Come on, man. I'm not going to get too excited on winning those games. They're supposed to win those games, but it's these games against Buffalo. These are the types of teams that they're going to see coming into the playoffs. So you look at that game and you look at an opportunity for the Eagles to finally, maybe shut some people up like me. But is it in the Eagles' best interest to go into Buffalo next week and play balls to the wall? With the way the team has been health-wise, and we got dinged up again last night, is it better for the Eagles to kind of go into Buffalo, maybe play the first half, and then from that point until we start the playoffs, let everybody else play? Is that in the betterment of this team? And I think it's a really interesting conundrum that this team has, because if they do decide to go balls to the wall and say somebody really important goes down, was it worth it? So it's going to be a very interesting debate or decision from the Eagles standpoint, what they do heading into Buffalo. And of course, the Buffalo Bill faithful, Orchard Park is closing. And on Sunday against the Eagles, it'll be the final regular season home game in Orchard Park. So that's going to be like a double electric atmosphere out there for those people. So I don't know. I don't know if this game, even though it does have all the makings in a game that could separate the boys from the men, and a game that we've all been wanting to see the Eagles perform in it for a while, is it in the best interest for them to go out there balls to the wall? So we'll get, as the week develops, we'll get more into that conversation. But I disagree. I think they deserve the East. They want it fair and they want it square. Can I open the phone lines? Absolutely. The 49ers have officially clinched the playoff spot with Detroit losing to Pittsburgh. Yeah, and that was a hell of a game. Did you guys watch that? The end of that game, Pittsburgh-Detroit? Woo! I thought the officials got it right. It was offensive pass interference down there by the goal line. Anything that happened after that is pretty much mute. But that was one of those Alcoa Presents. You guys remember those? The fantastic finishes, voiced over by Harry Callis back in the 80s. Usually it was right towards the end of the 4 o'clock game on Sundays. They would come out with, it was like right at the 2-minute warning of the late games on Sunday. They would do this thing called Alcoa Presents, or was it Arcoa? It was an oil company. Presents fantastic finishes, and they would go to a game that came down to one of those weird type endings. And that was definitely one of those today. Star Wars says we're one and done. Well, we'll get into that. Chiefs fear, yeah, I saw that today. Minshew goes down with a potential ACL tear. Oof, man. When it's not your year, boy, it's not your year. And, yeah. And it's unfortunate because I'm currently in, I play fantasy, as do a lot of people, and I am in the championship round semifinals. And Mahomes was my quarterback. And now I've gone down to C.J. Stroud, who I think only got me about 11 points today. I'm winning, and I should advance into the championship game next week, but I got a quarterback conundrum next week. What do I do here? I ended up going on to the waiver wire last week after Mahomes went down, and I picked up both Darnold and McCaffrey as free agents. But there's also another problem, is that Travis Kelce's my main and only tight end. And he had like 1.5 points today. So I'm in a bad way. The Chiefs are putting me in a bad way right now as we move down into the fantasy football finals next week. And I should, based on what hopefully happens for the rest of tonight, and I got McCaffrey tomorrow. My opponent's already done. He's already played his his role here and he finished with like 75 points, I should advance to the championship. But where am I going to go next week with the quarterback and tight end? Because, when you lose Mahomes, who was my starter, you also lose the whole Mahomes-Kelsey thing, and now Kelsey's not doing anything. I'm in a way, man. But yeah, when it's not your year, it ain't your year. The Eagles will not beat Buffalo, and this offense is still bad, and Tyler Steen is back to standing up before the ball. Not only was Tyler Steen back to doing that, half the offensive line was getting into that up position. I noticed yesterday. And again, Mike, we're going to get into this. We're going to break this game down. And I have not changed where I feel. You know that. This morning on the Philly AM program, I had to hear, the Jonestown crew going at it, trying to once again hypnotize you people back into La La Land about how. What did I hear this morning? Oh yes, they don't set the schedules up. They only play who they're supposed to play. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't when it comes to playing these teams, right? Apparently, beating the Las Vegas Raiders was scrutinized because it was the Raiders, and beating the Commanders yesterday after only playing one half of football. Let's face it. What was the first half? The first half was dreadful, right? They did not play a complete game again. So, we got one. We got one complete game so far in the old kit bag so far this year. But you're supposed to look past all that, right? You're supposed to look past all that because you look at the W. That's what you're supposed to see. You're not supposed to look inside and be like, it's kind of hokey dokey, man. You're getting calls here. You're getting plays here. Listen, the Commanders did not, Mariota's not good, but he's better than Pickett. And then Josh Johnson. Oh my God, dude. Really? Is this what they've got, man? Is this what you're relegated to when you get down to the third string? Ooh. There's something to be said about that. And there's no sense running away from that fact. Right? The Eagles beat a team they were supposed to beat. No doubt about it. But the game hung in the balance midway through the third quarter. Obviously Mariota wasn't coming back, and it was over at that point. But still, they played terribly in the first half. They survived because it was the Commanders, and they were able to somehow figure out, and what the major adjustment is what I heard Big Al say this morning. They made major adjustments at the half. Really? What was the major adjustments that the Eagles made? Because I didn't see anything different than I saw in the first half. It was the same game plan, same attack. The Commanders were down to their third string quarterback, and I like to call this the Cam Scatterboo effect. When your team is being held together by one player, and then that one player goes down, and you're just like, to hell with this, man. I'm done. Warm up the buses. Let's get the hell out of here. That's what happened when Mariota went down. Commanders like, what the hell with this, man? We can't win to do anything. No one's letting us win this year. We're done. Whatever. Run fast. We got Johnson out there. Whatever. It was the Cam Scatterboo effect. So, do I take solace in what happened with the Eagles? Do I take great confidence in what happened? No, of course I don't. You guys know me better than this. No, but they won. And it goes down as a win. They won the division. They're 10-5. I agree with what you're saying, Papernick, 100%. Nothing has changed since week one with this football team. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, but we're going to get more into this. But before I do that, because it's the beginning of the work week, and it's beginning of the week here on the network, here you are. Here's your Christmas week in a glance on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Today, or I should say tomorrow, because we are into, I didn't put Sunday up because we're basically into Monday. Tomorrow, you got the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight show, me and some Flyers Canucks clear the ice. Tuesday, we are tentatively looking at a 4 o'clock start time on Tuesday for the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. I got to confirm with him probably tomorrow. But right now, if you're throw some money down on it, I would throw down about your money on the 4 o'clock tomorrow or Tuesday, December 23rd. Pittsburgh Sports Tonight, props, locks, and parlays, and some Flyers, Blackhawks, clear the ice. Nothing live on Christmas Eve, but we will have some replays of some stuff, and I'm going to get into that here in a minute after I go through the schedule. Christmas Day, again, same deal. Nothing live throughout the day on Christmas Day, but I will be back for a very, very special MattyB Christmas. Christmas Day night at 9 o'clock. So make sure you're here as I'll finish out your Christmas in style. So I'll be here at Christmas night at 9 o'clock. On Friday, you got the Philly Friday Frenzy with Big Al. We got our final Happy Valley Huddle of the season on Saturday, Penn State or Clemson in the Pinstripe Bowl, and then a slew of programming on Sunday. Philly AM Sports, Steel City pregame, Steel City postgame, and Eagles-Bills postgame, me, and then you got Flyers Kraken as the Flyers are hitting the road for their annual Western Canadian, now Pacific Northwest road trip to bring in the new year. So that is your Sunday, this coming or next Sunday, whatever. So that's your schedule for the week. Now, you might have noticed there was no Steel City Sunday today, and that was a last-minute issue that they had with their venue. There was nothing could be done about it. I do apologize for those of you that were waiting to see it, but there was no Steel City Sunday because of that. But we should be okay for next week. But yeah, it was unfortunate that they could not go on the air today. But we'll get through that. And as far as so Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, as I mentioned, there's only one show scheduled live on Christmas Day. That's mine. On Christmas Eve, we're going to do some best of the It's a Wrap Sports Network from shows throughout the week. So we'll repurpose some shows, throw them back on the air. You might have noticed I was doing that over the weekend with a few shows, post games mainly, because all we really had in terms. I think Al's show was, we did it at midnight, and we showed it again on 9 o'clock on Friday. We're going to end up going to a format like this past the holidays. Once we get past New Year's, we're going to do on Saturdays, probably, and Sundays if we can, but Saturdays definitely to fill up some airtime. We're going to re-show some shows from the week on Saturdays, so as to kind of make sure I keep stuff on the air. That's kind of looking at doing that just to keep us relevant, keep our name getting out there. So what we're going to end up doing, for example, we'll take static shows from the week and then air them again on Saturday, right? Post games will be done the same way, except we'll do those about post games have a shelf life. Obviously, I'm not going to show them a week later, but like the next morning we'll rebroadcast it again too. So we're going to start kind of working that in again, sort of like fill up some airtime. But that will begin. That's already begun, kind of. But you'll see that on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day a little bit more. So that's your network schedule in a glance. Joe wants to know if I can open up the phone lines on Christmas. Yeah, of course I can, Joe. I'm gonna open the phone lines every day, man. It's part of the show. So, but let's get started. 20 minutes in, I haven't even done your day in Philadelphia sports history. So let's strap in, strap on, strap up. Keep your head, hands, feet inside the car at all times. And here we go. Your day in Philadelphia sports history on this day in 1849. Yes, I break all barriers here, man. 1849, the Skaters Club of the City and County of Philadelphia formed on this date, the first known club of its kind in the United States. According to the club's official website, how could they have a website in 1849? But I guess they still have one. The club's objectives were instruction and improvement in the art of skating, cultivation of friendly feeling in all who participated in the amusement of skating, and the efficient use of proper apparatus for the rescue of persons breaking through the ice. Yeah, that's right. The club dissolved within a few years, but led the way for the Philadelphia Skating Club and Humane Society, established in 1861. So on this day in 1849, the Skaters Club of the county and city of the county and city of Philadelphia was formed, which later would morph into the Humane Society. I don't know how they got there, and I don't know where, why it started from there. And of course, when you see skating, the fact that they had to throw in the whole rescue procedures if you actually went through the ice, because back then you weren't, you were skating on frozen lakes and ponds and all that. There was no arenas. But again, I'm not speaking from firsthand knowledge. I wasn't around in 1849. I didn't cut the ribbon on the Philadelphia Skating Club in 1849. But somehow that led itself into the establishment of the Pennsylvania or the Humane Society in 1864. So happy Skaters Club of Philadelphia birthday, formed on this day in 1849. That was your day in Philadelphia sports history. Brought to you by the fine folks here at the It's a Wrap Sports Network, specifically the ones who present to you the newest show to our cavalcade of stars, the Philly Friday Frenzy with Al Zafiri, every Friday night at 9 p.m. Join Al as he will recap your week and get you ready for the weekend on the Philly Friday Frenzy. That's right, the Philly Friday Frenzy, every Friday at 9, exclusively on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. So let's get them going. Phone lines are now open. So if you guys want to join the conversation, you can. There's the link. It should be popping into your wheelhouses now. Conversations on the floor here. Eagles, obviously, we're going to break some of this stuff down. We're going to talk Eagles, get a little bit into this game specifically, but more, we're going to look outwards, look beyond the horizon, young man, at what's to come. Phillies, a plethora of moves, what they mean, what they don't mean. We'll break some of that stuff down. We'll talk about your newest Philadelphia Phillies, Flyers, and Tim Saunders and his comments. We'll get into that, man. And we'll actually talk about the Flyers on the ice, too. What a novel concept. But we'll get into all that. And anything else you want to bring to bear here tonight. Oh, man. Okay, let's get back to where we were. Where did I leave off at here? Ricky Deal says, hey, what's up? Go Flyers. Absolutely, Ricky. Cowboys are out. Who's next? Again, it's an interesting statement. Cowboys are out. And that's good, right? So that's at least a positive. Who's next? Oh, who is next? Let's look at that. Who is next? Who's on the precipice? Detroit with their loss today, kind of treading water along with Tampa. They're the next two. They're the next two on deck. It's going to be interesting. The NFC playoff picture is jumbled as hell. So is the AFC playoff picture. We'll go over that a little bit later too. So I guess Detroit, Tampa, one of them two. The Eagles will have to smoke Buffalo like 37-16 for me to feel a hair better. Again, it goes back to my initial comment, though, Papernick. How much, in what interest is that for the Eagles, though? And I agree with you. It would go a long way into making me feel better. But is it really in their best interest to do that? Is it really in their best interest to go balls to the wall, pedal to the metal, in a game that really, let's face it, does it mean much? They have an outside shot at 2. Yeah, right? But what does it matter at this point? The ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl, not to beat the Buffalo Bills, not to put a statement against the Bills. It's to win a Super Bowl. Now, I know what you're talking about, and I know what you mean. But is it really worth it in the long run? They are, Ricky Deal. They're open. Brad Keller will now team up with Johan Duran and Jose Alvarado to bring overwhelming size and power out of the ball. Easy there. Easy there, Skippy. Oh, Brad Keller? Hang on now. Okay, there's multiple things wrong with this statement. All right. Brad Keller is going to come with one quality season under his belt, which was the most recent one, and that's the smart thing to do, to have a contract year, to have your best season. What was he, 207? His ERA this year with the Cubs. And prior to that, Brad Keller was like a 4.69 career ERA. He does come with a little bit of multiple facetedness to him. He can pitch out of the bullpen. He could start, sort of a Swiss Army knife at this point that we may need with the state of our starting rotation. 69 games, 69.2 innings pitched, 207 ERA, 75 strikeouts, 22 walks, and 4 wins was Keller's line last year with the Cubs, his best ever in his career. Now, overwhelming size and power. Yeah, he's a big dude. Now, you also mentioned Jose Alvarado. Well, what's Jose Alvarado going to be post juice or whatever it was he was taking? What's that Alvarado going to look like? You know, is he going to be back down in human size in terms of his speed? Is he going to lose anything off his velocity because he's no longer taking the old Flintstone vitamins there? I mean, I think that's a topic that's not being discussed right now, and then I think it will be discussed as we get closer to the season. And then Yohan Duran came in like a lion last year, went out like a lamb, man. You know, he struggled down the stretch with the Phillies towards the back end. So do I like the moves? You know, we'll get into those, but you know, I'm not hitching my star on. Brad Keller is not the reason we're winning the World Series next year. All right, I'll go out there and make a bold take there. You know, the Phillies bullpen is not going to carry us to victory, to the World Series next year. And if that's what Dave Dombrowski's plans are, it's going to be a rough year. It's going to be a real rough year. We got a lot of other things to take care of. And then, of course, with all the moves, there was 3 of them. Keller, was it Bolin, and what was the other dude's name from the Diamondbacks? Backhus. Phillies have now made, 3 moves to their bullpen or 3 moves to their pitching and only 1 offensive move so far this offseason? 1? I don't know, man. Oof. I don't know. Last time I checked, it was the offense that needed the addressment, not the bullpen. Yeah, your bullpen needed to be fixed. Jordan Romano needed to go, needed to be replaced. Matt Strahm, who ended up getting dealt for Bolin, that was a complete price jump or price dump, cash dump, salary dump. You know, you said the wrong thing at the end of the season, pissing off the owner and the president. That was all that was. Matt Strahm was a sacrificial lamb there. They needed to save some money, and he was the one who made the stupidest comments at the end of the season. So guess what? Tag, you're it. I guess there's some questions about his clubhouse presence anyway, but whatever. That wasn't necessarily an upgrade that needed to be made, and I don't think you made the upgrade in picking up Bolin. Not at all. Jonathan Bolin, 34 games, 44 innings pitched, 3.86 ERA, 46 strikeouts, 17 walks, 1 win and no saves. Bolin to me is a middle reliever, not even maybe a middle, maybe a 6th inning guy, but he's going to be a long reliever. I don't know if that upgrade needed to be made. And then you throw in this guy, you throw in Kyle Backus, 32 games. That was a trade with the Diamondbacks. 25 innings, 4.62 ERA, 22 strikeouts, 8 walks, 2 saves. He's not even a guarantee to make the team out of camp. I wouldn't be surprised he started the season down in AAA. Right? So, yeah, I mean, yeah, they addressed some needs in the bullpen. But we're still looking at a very unbalanced, unstructured lineup. And that was the problem last year. And the year before. And the year before that. So, I don't know. Let's go. Let's get into the phones. Ricky Deal. How are you, my friend?
I am good.
Good to hear it, man. What's on your mind tonight?
And go Flyers.
Ricky, the Flyers had a little bit of a struggle this weekend. They had lost in Buffalo, and then they had the shootout loss yesterday against the Rangers. Not a good weekend for the Orange and Black. Magnified by the goaltending situation, Ricky. Now you got Dan Vladar, who's day-to-day with an injury. You bring Alexei Kovalev back up. Can the Flyers win, Ricky Deal? Can the Flyers, and when I say win, can they get to the playoffs with Dan Vladar and Sam Ersson as their goalies?
Mm-hmm.
I do not agree with you. I understand where you're coming from, and I love your optimism, as I've stated 1,000 times. I do not agree with you. We got a problem in between the pipes, which is nothing new for the Flyers, Ricky Deal. We've been dealing with this problem since the mid-'80s. But all the good work that's been done, all the promising steps forward by players like Zegras, players like I guess Tyson Forrester before he got hurt, all the offensive sort of uptick, the better defensive play, all that Rick Tocchet stuff is being overshadowed right now and might be titanic by the goaltending, Ricky Deal. The Flyers are going to have to make a decision soon on where they are headed with goaltending. I don't think they can win with Vladar and Urson, Rick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my man. Rick, listen. Tomorrow, Monday, and Thursday is when we're going to do this show again. I got post game on Tuesday, so no final word on Tuesday. I'll be doing Flyers and Blackhawk post game, and no shows at all live on Christmas Eve, and then I'll be back on Christmas Day. All right, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ricky Deal. He's my main man. Are you my main man, Papernick?
Yo, what up, Matty?
What's going on, man?
So what? You're doing a show on Christmas Day instead of Christmas Eve?
Yes.
I would have thought it'd been role reversed somehow.
No, see, listen, that's a great point. And I was going to ask this question later in the week. Maybe I'll do it right now. Growing up throughout my life and as a young man and into my adult life, Christmas Eve was always the bigger thing. Christmas Day is kind of almost like a lump day where you just kind of hang out and you just sort of let it all just drain out, you know? The more going on for me has always been Christmas Eve for some odd reason. Yeah.
Yeah, not me. It was kind of boring, but it is what it is. Yeah. I just looked at it as another day being off of work. That's all I ever looked at it. So one of the reasons why they got rid of Strom, I just read, he clashed with coaches. He voiced his opinion on how the bullpen was being managed.
Uh-oh.
I mean, let me think. He speaks up, they get rid of him.
Yeah, he was way off base.
He speaks up, they get rid of him.
Yeah.
Nick Castellanos spoke up. They benched him, and I know why to get rid of him. But it's like if you voice your opinion or have an opinion or anything against Robbie or the organization or whoever in there, it's like you're off the Christmas card list.
Good point. Listen, and I everybody's sort of like poo-pooed those comments Dombrowski said at the end of the season when asked about Strom's comments about PFP and Kerkering, and he said Strom did, well, we don't do PFP. And then Dombrowski hit back and said, well, maybe he don't, but they do. You saw it in Dombrowski's eyes. I saw that Strom was gone when he made that statement.
But it's just the point that it's like, it's like it's either you're in line with us or you're gonna be gone. You know, that's ridiculous. I mean, I do like that kid, the Rodriguez. Don't get me wrong, he ain't gonna give you. Hopefully, what they're hoping for is the 2 years where he had like over 100 RBIs and stuff, and I think like 30 home runs. If he could give us 25 home runs to 26 home runs back behind Harper or Schwarber, whoever's going to be number 3. I mean, that's at 95. I mean, I'll take that any day of the week because Alec Baum, he don't strike out much, but he's not your guy he was never a number 4. He has to be a 6, 7. Or I think I thought he'd be a decent number 2 because it's a lot of doubles and a lot of singles.
Let me ask you this, Papernick. I heard this trade proposal. As a matter of fact, Alec Baum's name has been kicking up lately in trade proposals. Obviously, the Bichette news now. Are they trying to clear salary to bring in Bo Bichette? That's been a big thing. But I heard this today. How would you do this with the Yankees? Alec Bohm and Orion Kerkering for Trent Grisham.
Now, I'm trying to think who Trent Grisham is. I don't know who he is. Yeah, I know, but what position?
He's a second baseman. No, he's a third. Was he third base? Where is he? Is he third base?
But is he going to give you the power? Is he going to? Okay, this was a down year, but the 2 years before that, he gave you over 90 RBIs. He gave you, I think it was like 20 home runs or whatever, and he batted 270 to 280 something. So is this guy going to be able to do that? I mean, it's a contract year. I think Bob.
He's an outfielder, right? He's an outfielder.
Okay.
34 homers, 74 RBIs.
You're talking about Jazz. You're talking about Jazz Chisholm.
No, Trent Grisham. Trent.
Okay, Trent Grisham. Okay,
Yep.
I didn't.
Now he batted 235. His OPS was 812 though.
Okay. Well, I guess is he going to play third base?
No, I'm going to stick him in the outfield.
Okay, so he's going to be. So Marsh will be your guy coming off the bench.
Yeah, I'd run probably a rotation of what? It would be Grisham. It would be Garcia.
And left.
Yeah, I'd have to. Yeah, then Crawford in center. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about the guy. I mean, I guess. I mean, I'd have to look, to see, like, does he fit? You know what I mean? Is he? Do you think he's
behind Harper? He's a number 2. I'd put him second in my lineup. I would bat him second. He's a lefty.
But if you're getting rid of Baum, who's playing third?
I don't care.
I don't care. Kemp in third.
Sosa until Miller's ready. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, but see, my problem with T, I don't have a problem with the. My thing is it's the manager.
Yeah.
Is Otto Kemp going to bat fourth in this lineup?
No,
that's the problem. Well, that's the problem. I mean, you got 2 RBI guys in this team, and neither one of them bats fourth. It's like when I heard the Marte thing. If they bring him in, they're saying for protection for Harper to bat behind him. What the heck? I'm like, I get it. He hits 283, but he's not protection. Protection's Pete Alonso. Protection's Kyle Schwarber. That's who protects them guys. But when you put Alec Baum and everybody else behind him, you're not protecting nobody.
No, you're opening the door, actually. You're opening the door.
I've never pitched it's just, you can bring in anybody you want, Matty. You know this. It comes down to what this manager, the robotic buffoon, is going to just Turner, Schwarber, Harper, or Turner, Harper, Schwarber. After that, he'll you could have JT batting fourth. Alec Baum is a 5'6". I think Baum would be a decent 5. He's a decent 6. Like I said, I like Baum at number 2. I do. I mean, if you're looking to if he's getting on base and getting the hits, I mean, I don't know why. And then this they get to the Eagles. All right, now I'm going to get off there. Let's fool's gold on offense. They're going to get smoked by Buffalo. They're going to beat Washington and they might win one game. It depends if they play in the first round, but they're not getting past second round. They had a hard time putting. I mean, yeah, they had an implosion, but because Washington don't care, the Raiders don't care. That is all fool's gold. What you're seeing. Yeah. They have to go out next week and smoke Buffalo. They have to smoke Buffalo. If they can beat Buffalo, say anything with 30 points, like 14 or 16 or more, then I might have a little glimmer of hope. But they can't. They can't.
Do you do that with the opportunity? Listen, I mean, the way it's set up, the Eagles really. I mean, is it in their better interest to try to go higher in the seedings, or even go out and play hard against Buffalo? Or just lay back and wait for the playoffs to start and try to get some people healthy.
Well, here's my thing. I live in Buffalo. I live around so I want to see Buffalo, lose, but it ain't going to happen. So I'm going to have to listen to them fraud fans, cry like they ought to just be happy Kansas City ain't in the playoffs because they can't beat them. Like I told you a couple weeks ago, if they don't get to the Super Bowl, I want to hear one Buffalo fan cry about because Kansas City's not in the playoffs to stop them. This is their year. It's like the Phillies. This is their year, just like the Phillies when they played Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Nobody was in it. All the big teams are out. This is your year, Buffalo, to get there, but it ain't going to happen. And I can get to yell at all their fraud fans. But, listen,
honestly, is it in the Eagles' best interest to go up there?
Yes.
And you think so?
Well, if you could. Here's a question for you. I'll have to hit you with a question on top of your question. Do you think this team don't need the reps on offense to try to prove they can put points out there against good teams?
Yeah, no,
that's the thing.
That's a great point. It's a great point. That's a great point.
Sure, just because you're putting 30 points up against the Raiders, the Commanders, and then let's see you do it to a team that's half decent. That's what I want to see. You couldn't put it up against the Chargers. You couldn't do it against the Bears. Well, now I got to put all my hope you're gonna just click against Buffalo like that because Buffalo's fighting for a division because the game's 10-10 right now with Baltimore and New England. So they're fighting for that division. So Buffalo's going to come with all their guns smoking.
Yep.
So the Eagles have to. I'd like to see the Eagles if they could get a good lead where they're blowing them away. Then you could take everybody out. You know what I'm saying? But that's the only way I think they're going to impress me. They got to smoke Buffalo. Otherwise, they're not beating nobody. They're done in the playoffs, and just live for next year. I mean, that's all. Trade Brown in the offseason. He's got to go.
Well, you're not going to get an argument from me about that. I agree with what you're saying, but I think it's a very interesting situation because you put up a good point. No one should feel good or comfortable about the Eagles offense heading into the playoffs. And the only way to alleviate that is to go out there against quality opponents and put up points or play effective offense. If they do sit people, yeah, they may stretch people's health into the playoffs, but we're still no better offensively, or we're still no closer to getting it all solved offensively than we were Christ back at the bye week. That's a very good point, Kaepernick.
If there's a silver lining, if Saquon can do to Buffalo what he just did to Washington, if it's a close win and they lose, I have a little glimmer of hope, because if Saquon's running the ball crazy, that opens up everything. And
it does,
Jalen's got to do more to read option. But if they're not doing that, and Tyler Sheen's doing his up and down thing, it's like
doing that.
I just been watching him. I knew he was going to do it this week. I mean, it's just, I don't know what Jeff Stoutland even lets this guy, unless he can't hear or something, or he can't pick up the the cadence he's yelling. He must have to look back for that. It must be a hand signal or something that he's doing to him to get him to understand it. Well, then why is he even out there if he can't? If he's got to get a hand signal to know what every play is? Like, I mean,
and he needs to be careful, because that could be, if he doesn't time it right, that's going to be a false start.
Yeah,
when he goes back down, he's got to be careful when he does that.
He's lucky they haven't gotten him, because that's all it takes is for But maybe he's thinking if he does that, maybe them guys will jump off too. But I mean, but like you said, it could be considered a false start. Now, but yeah, Eagle fans, look, I get it. We're all happy they got a winning record. But if you're a true Eagles fan, I mean, you can't be happy the way things are going and the playoffs are coming. They're not. This is fool's gold getting hot. This is not. They're not beating quality teams, and I get it. It's what they got in front of them. But you got to. You beat Buffalo, that's going to, I think, help out with a lot of stuff. They got to smoke them, I'm telling you. They got to go in and smoke them. 40 to 20 or something, 30 to 10. I mean, Buffalo's they're a fraud team too. I'm telling you, watch that team. I watch them all the time. They're not that good. Josh Allen, I get it. Well, he's probably top 3 quarterback in the NFL. Okay, whatever, but. Like, you got an organization that don't care. He's the new Donovan McNabb before Donovan got T.O. It was the Donovan McNabb show and nothing else. That's all he is. What did Donovan win? Nothing.
Nah, but he almost did. Almost.
Yeah, well,
almost 39.
Yeah, well, listen, almost only counts as horseshoes and hand grenades,
Yeah, that's a good point.
And, it's like, I almost hit the lottery every night, but I'm always 4 numbers short.
All right, Patrick, listen, man, let you go, man.
You have a good night, Matty. I'll get with you again.
We'll be back tomorrow, and then not until Christmas. So make
Christmas
sure
Day.
Tomorrow.
Well, that's
tomorrow
even better.
Do it.
Christmas.
What's that?
Christmas. That's fine for me. I only have 7 grandkids running around me.
by 9 o'clock, they should be asleep, man. So we'll be.
Nah, they're not. Nah, you don't know my heathens.
All right. Listen, man, we'll talk later. All right.
All right.
Man, Kaepernick, truth bombs, man. I mean, he's got a point. And I didn't really consider that point. I know as fans, I think the majority of us want to see the Eagles go out there and play the Buffalo Bills like it's any other game, right? Balls to the wall. Guns smoking, as Kaepernick said, the Bills will probably come to bear with. But overall, is it worth it? Because this team's been dealing with health problems all season long. You have an opportunity with extended time. Do you play your starters in the first half and you run vanilla base type stuff, a la preseason approach? Then you yank all the starters out in the second half, and then you coast through into week 18 against the Commanders and then into the playoffs. I think it's a great point. And Kaepernick brings up a very good point. The offense is not fixed for the Eagles. I mean, they struggled hard in that first half. Obviously, the opening kickoff fumble and help things. But the offense is far from fixed. And should you look at a game like Buffalo, maybe not against the greatest defense out there, but a playoff atmosphere, a playoff team on the road, and you go at them, just see what you can do. Very good point. What's up, man?
How are you?
How you doing?
Save the best for last.
That's right, Joe. Always.
No. I love the fact that we face a Buffalo team. But you're wrong. It's not the last Buffalo's home game.
Regular season home game.
No, it's not. They hit the Jets.
I've checked this 1,000 times. Let me see.
So did I. My buddy, it's the Jets.
Week
Buffalo
18, right? Was that the final week? Oh, yeah. My bad. It is not the last home game. Must have missed that. Joe Hale called it. Okay, it's the last primetime, nationally televised regular season home game. That Jets game ain't getting nationally televised.
Yeah, it is Fox.
But it'll be the regional market. Like, that's the game of the week, Eagles-Bills.
Okay, you're right.
Not Jets-Bills. I must have missed that, Joe Hale.
I think the Eagles play their starters.
All the way through?
Up until half. If they're up big, you pull them.
What if you're not up big?
The way Buffalo looked against Cleveland today, barely beating Cleveland.
Yeah.
But that's a different story.
Listen, by all means, I'm not pumping up the wheels of Buffalo. I don't, they're a good football team. They got a great quarterback. I love Josh Allen. But they're flawed, just like everybody else is.
Yeah.
But this is the type of team the Eagles are going to see in the playoffs, right? The type of team, and they have not performed well against anybody this year consistently. And because you're not going to get tested against the Commanders in Week 18. You're not going to do that. Do you even care about being tested in Week 17 against Buffalo, or you just say to hell with it? We're gonna run all the way to the playoffs and be done with that, or do you sit there and say
because the Eagles have something to play for. The number 2 seed, they can't get the 1. Seattle is getting the 1. The number 2 seed, if the Bears lose twice and the Eagles win twice, I think they'll be the number 2 seed because they're in a tiebreaker with the Lions, and the Lions play the Bears this coming week, and then the Bears play the Niners, which is going to be interesting.
Right, so the Eagles have to win out, and the Bears have to lose out.
I'll be okay with number 2.
But is it that big of a difference between 2 and 3?
Yes.
In what way?
Momentum. Because you would have to face the less of the wild card teams.
Yeah.
You would have to face the Niners or the Rams.
I got you. No, I'm listening and I believe you, but if you go balls to the wall and you're going to go after that 2 seed, which you don't control, you got to wait and hope that the Bears lose out. Say you lose an AJ Brown, or you lose a Jalen Hurts, or you lose, God forbid, another person off the offensive line in your attempt to capture that number 2 seed. Is that worth it?
You did lose Teen. There's reports that he's going to be suspended.
For what? Oh, for what he did?
Yes.
Really?
That is, yes. NFL is going to put it out there tomorrow.
So they're blaming him for that fight? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah. It's going to be him and that Washington player.
All right. Well, there you lost Steen. Now you also might be down Nakobe Dean, right? Because he kind of limped off the field and never came back last night. So is this worth it?
Yes.
Okay.
If they're up big, you pull them at half.
If they're not up big or if they're getting blown out, you do. Or you don't.
Yes. You're correct.
Oh, Joe, that's awful gamble, man, to go up one spot potentially in the playoff picture.
I'm going to say what Ricky said. I want to talk Flyers.
Let's do it.
I watched the Valley Phantoms game. I get that in Jersey.
How'd you like it?
Orson looks really good. Why isn't he up here yet?
Because he's only been with the team since the spring. He's got maybe 10, 12 games under his belt. They're just waiting to kind of give him that opportunity. They're teaching him how to be a pro goalie. He's too young.
I'm going to
I can give you 1,000 reasons why he's not here. And none of them are talent around. It's all about timing and all that. What's that?
He sucks in shootouts.
You broke up. What'd you say?
He sucks in shootouts. He's horrible.
I haven't really watched him that much. I did watch him last year in the playoffs down there in the AHL. Again, he's a second-round pick. He's the next up. I mean, he's going to get the next shot whenever that time is. But that plan, and it's very well documented. We're not necessarily going after a big-name goalie, either through trade or free agency. And they're trying to be patient with their prospects. But with the team playing the way they are in front of the goalie and being let down by the goalie, let's face it, Sam Ersson stinks. All right, Sam Ersson does not belong in the net for the Flyers at this point. He really doesn't. And then you got Vladar, who's dealing with an injury and what have you. Should the Flyers change course and go after a goalie, or stay where they're at right now and continue developing from within and potentially let an opportunity slip by about making the playoffs?
You go out and get a one-year rental goalie, like expiring contract.
What are you willing to give up for that?
Draft picks.
Don't forget, you're a rebuilding team who's trying to stockpile draft picks, develop your talent. You're willing to give up somebody high or a high draft pick for a one-year rental?
Yes.
I don't know, Joe. But the thing is, it's short-sighted a little bit. The goal is not to get to the playoffs. The goal is to win a Stanley Cup. And the road to that cup is fought with this type of stuff. No, not this year they're not. But eventually that's what their goal is. And they're trying to develop from within. I'm just giving you the other side of this. You know what I mean?
I brought up a player when Mike did post game. Or was it Thursday?
For the Flyers?
Stamkos. Would you go out and get Stamkos?
So I don't know I haven't really been looking at what he's been doing this year. I know last year he fell off a cliff out there in Nashville, right? I mean, I don't know what the hell happened to him last year. But yes, I'd be willing to take him. But I don't know if we have the salary room for him. But
you have to give up a big contract.
Yeah, and he's only did he just sign a multi-year deal with Nashville?
But last year he did.
Was it like a 5-year deal?
Yes.
I don't know I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to pick him up for that. Like, I don't want to pick him up for 3 years or 3.5 years.
The Nashville would have to pay the contract. That's what reports are on.
Absolutely. If that's the case, yeah. Come on.
The Tim Saunders comment.
Yes. Let's talk about Tim Saunders.
Why would you say that knowing you were still on the air?
Oh, I don't think he knew they were on the air. That was the whole point. They were he went to commercial. He thought they were off the air. No, I don't. No, I do not believe in any sense of the word he knew they were still on the air. I think he really believed they were off the air, and that's why he said it. And boys being boys, locker room talk, all that kind of stuff. I'm not up in arms against it. I mean,
I'm not. I thought it was funny though.
It was just hilarious.
I like how
freaking hilarious.
Was it Tyrion? Is that who he's with?
No, he's with. No, who was he with? It's not Coates anymore, right? Coates retired. Who Who is he? Is it Scott Fransky? Or am I thinking of the Phillies? Flyers radio team.
I'm going to give you one update. Speaking of the Phillies, Larry Anderson's retiring.
From broadcasting?
Yes.
So he's stepping out. He's stepping out of the radio.
He's doing less and less games this year. He's only doing the home games, the Sunday home games.
Oh, it's Jason Markakis. That's and Brian Smith. Oh, Brian Smith hosts the pregame. Markakis does pregame and postgame. Tim Saunders. Oh, that's who it is. Todd Fedoruk.
Okay.
It's Todd Fedoruk. Yeah.
Fedoruk's awesome. I know. I met him a lot.
Yeah. Former Flyer player.
I'm speaking of update on the helmet. I'm actually going to take it to a card show.
When?
Where? Next week in Jersey.
Where at? Cherry Hill Mall?
No, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. It's not the mall.
Where's the
It's
location at? Oh, it's a store, just a regular store you're going in?
Yeah. And
it's not like an event.
The fly.
It's not like an expo or anything. You just go, okay.
But,
let me know what you get for it, man.
Is definitely. The reason why I asked if you were going to go live on Thursday, check your message. I might have a special surprise for the people.
What's that?
Joe Claus. I have a Santa outfit. I think it would be cool.
Do whatever you want, man.
No, you wouldn't.
Do you? No, Joe. Listen, that'd be great, man. The little kiddies might love it. No, Joe. Yeah, absolutely, man. You want to dress up as Santa? You want to dress up as the Easter Bunny? By all means, I don't care, man. Bring it on.
No. What did you think of the bullpen moves for the Phillies?
So we kind of glossed over that a little bit. Brad Keller, I think, if he can, duplicate what he did in Chicago, I think it's a solid sixth inning move. I think really, if you look at him, he's the replacement for Matt Strahm in the long run. The other two, I don't even know if what's his name's even going to start the season with the team.
One from Arizona.
Yeah, Kyle Backhas. I don't know if he starts the season with the Phillies. Don't forget, last year was his first major league year. He's up and down. So, but anything,
it would be.
He's like a fifth inning guy. And then the guy that they brought in with the actual trade, Jonathan Bolin.
I like that move from Kansas City.
Bolin, you like him?
I like it. No, you get the money back from the Schramm deal.
What are you saying?
And you get the money back from the Schramm deal. It's a salary cap relief hit, basically. And
I understand why they made the move, but do you think that Matt Strahm, the only value they could get was that guy? I mean, they couldn't work anything more for Matt Strahm.
Nobody else wanted him.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Strahm goes back to the team that drafted him. We broke into the majors with.
You said Trent Grisham. I would do that to you on a heartbeat.
Alec Boehm or Ryan Kirkering for Trent Grisham.
Doing it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I like that too.
Because he could play the infield too. He's a utility person.
You could play him in the infield, but you could also he could be your left fielder as well.
He can also be your center fielder and put Crawford in left. I'm okay with that because that's where Crawford played in Lehigh.
Yeah.
Well,
and I would back Grisham at second. I would put him in number 2 in the order.
And trade Stott?
Would I trade Stott? I would trade Stott in a heartbeat, but I'd trade Stott. But if I can get Grisham for Boehm and Kirkering, I would do that move.
Yes.
Yeah, I would do
that. It is being reported by MLB. That's the rumor deal.
Yeah.
And hopefully JT makes a decision.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I don't know why it's taking so long. I don't know if he's weighing options from other teams, if he's trying to milk another year out of the Phillies. I don't know what he's doing. It's interesting that he's not signed yet or signed with anybody, really.
Unless they said he's waiting till after Christmas. I heard that also.
It could be. Maybe he doesn't want to be bothered with the. He wants to enjoy the holidays stress free, I guess. But
and it's funny what Bellinger put. He's not going to sign until spring training.
He's going to pull an old Pete Alonso, huh? Then he's probably going back to the Yankees.
Yeah.
He's probably going back to the Yankees.
All right.
All right, Joe. Don't forget tomorrow. I'm here. No Tuesday, no Wednesday, and I'll be back on Thursday.
I like the best of for on a Christmas Eve. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, it's going to be stuff that's from not like the best of like in the history of the network, like just
that
from
would
the
be
week.
that would be cool if you can do that though on a holiday. The best of.
Maybe we'll work that next year, but and then going forward on Saturdays mainly, we're gonna repackage all the stuff from the week and throw it out on Saturday again. So
unless there's some flyers,
right.
Because you got the Penn State huddle.
We got that coming up on Saturday at 3:00. Yep, it's gonna be a busy weekend.
Okay.
All right, Joe. We'll talk, man.
Yep.
All right, Joe Hale. Kicking around some football and kicking around some baseball. How did I miss that Jets thing? I thought the Bills' final home game was this Sunday against the Eagles. Maybe I overlooked it because it was the stinking Jets. Perhaps maybe it was a Freudian psychological block that doesn't recognize the Jets. But I could have sworn that game was on the road, that they were playing in New York. Maybe that's where I got confused. Both teams are from New York. I don't know. But Joe corrected me, and it is correct. The Jets will be the final home game against Buffalo on week 18 at 1:00, which means the only people watching that game will be the people at Orchard Park and the Buffalo surrounding area. Maybe as far out as the suburbs of Rochester, but that's about it. No one else in the country is going to be watching that game, right? Not even the people in Manhattan, Queens, East Rutherford. Not even the Jets' own faithful are going to watch that stinkfest. So, in essence, the last home game, the last real cool game, regular season-wise, will be Eagles-Bills. The Phillies bullpen is a mess. The lineup is still a mess. They have Castellanos and they haven't signed JT, and their starting pitching is a mess except for two starters. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't necessarily believe that the Phillies bullpen's a mess. The Phillies bullpen's a little bit of an unknown, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the moves. It's a little interesting, as I said, though. They've made 3 moves to address the bullpen, but only 1 move to address the offense. I'll agree with you. The offense is a mess. Starters, we kind of ran down the good stretch of last season in the same position that we're heading into this season with, in terms of no Zach Wheeler, a bad Aaron Nola, but they found a way with Jesus and Ranger and Taiwan Walker and Walker Buehler. I mean, they found a way to get there. I'm not really that down on the starting pitching. There's a concern, but I'm okay with the way the starting pitching right now looks. Nola can't be as bad as he was last year. I mean, that's just not possible, right? I hope the hell it ain't. You're going to get Wheeler back at the end of May. You should get a repeat performance by Sanchez. Luzardo will be his hot, cold self. You throw in the unknowns of Andrew Painter. And then Taiwan Walker hopefully can give you what he gave you last year in a limited role. Is it something that I'm going to bet the mortgage of my house on? No, but I'm not going into the season. I'm okay with it. You might have to make some adjustments in season, but I'm okay with the starting pitching. But my concern from day one has been and always will be is the offense. The Adonis or Dolis Garcia move is not moving the needle for me. And I know with the questions and the Matt Strahm stuff, are they trying to find salary to go after Bo Bichette? I'd be all in on that, man. If the Phillies could find a way to move heaven and earth and sign Bo Bichette. Let's think about it. He's a righty, right? Had 806 OPS last year. I'm sorry, 840. He had an 840 OPS last year. 18 homers, 94 RBIs, 4 stolen bases, and he batted .311. To me, he's the prototypical 2025, 2026, 21st century number 2 hole hitter. And if I got a lineup that starts out with Turner, Bichette, Harper, Schwarber, I'll ride those 4 to the end. I'm going to be putting up some numbers. Now, yes, the Rob Thompson factor does matter here, as Kaepernick said. It matters a lot. And he's going to have to learn how to play a new position. He's going to play second or third. I'll put him at third. Someone's getting kicked out of here, either Stott or Bohm. Boy, if the Phillies are actually trying to clear salary for Bo Bichette, man, I'd be all in on that. That would be a great move. That would end all of my trepidation towards this lineup. It really would. Do we do it? And is this what the Strom trade was all about? Trying to clear salary in order to go after Bo Bichette. We'll have to wait and see. I thought JT had to take a hometown discount, which went out the window once. Yeah, I don't know why people thought that. Well, you know how Phillies fans are, Mike. I never thought he was going to take no damn hometown discount. He's at the end of his career. He's trying to get paid, right? He knows this is it. It's the last contract he's going to get. It's the last decent contract he can potentially squeeze out of somebody. He's not taking no friggin' hometown discount. And it's interesting that we're still negotiating at this point. If he was such in love with the Phillies, this deal would have been done. He's either going back and forth about years, or they're going back and forth about teams. There's a bidding war going on. One or the other is happening right now. But there is no JT Realmuto red pinstripe love driving his train. No. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Ben Franklin, Grant, all them guys are driving his train. Rightfully so. No Ranger is a big loss. It could potentially be. I thought, and I think we overlooked and undervalued Ranger a little bit last year. I know I did. I wrote him off after 2024 and to the start of his 2025. But for his credit, man, he really did buckle down mid-season and really carried the Phillies through that summer stretch when they really needed him. And I think we all, as a fan base, undervalue him based on what happened in 2024. And you're right. That is a looming, potentially bad problem for the Phillies. And I've given that some thought too. Absolutely. If the Phillies sign Bichette, it'll be a 1-year deal. Really? You think? A 1-year, $20 million, $25 million contract? Nah, man, I wouldn't take that. No, would I? Would I take that if I was Dombrowski? Do I fear my job is on the line? And do I actually go after Bichette for a 1-year mega deal, like $25 million for 1 year? Do I do that? Will that call the dogs of hell away from me if I go ahead and do that? Does that save my job? I think it might. Do you do that? If that's all you can get, if you throw all your eggs in a basket of a 1-year, $25 to $30 million contract, do you do that if you're the Phillies? Depending on how desperate they are. JT said he'd take yeah. Of course he's going to say that. I disagree. But all right, let's get into this. Let's go into we're not going to do hot stove tonight. We're getting too late. I'll keep that for tomorrow. Hell, by the time I get back to the hot stove, it'll be friggin' spring training. We'll have to do like 19 pages of it. But we'll do hot stove tomorrow. But I do want to get into the of the night segment. So let's do that. Oh, wait. Nope. Keep on. Ah. Yep, it is the other night segment. It is the time of the show where we'll take a pause, look at a Flyer prospect, a Phillies prospect, a Flyers draft target, Phillies draft target. We'll spotlight a player from the Phillies or the Flyers. Just kind of step back. We are into the hot time of the year when it comes to Flyers prospects and NHL draft prospects. I don't think I've done an NHL draft prospect for like 2 weeks. We're not doing one tonight. But we are going to do a Flyer prospect. We'll get back into the NHL. Well, I'll do some NHL prospects tomorrow. But because now next month I got to start cranking the Phillies spotlight players out. But here we go. Tonight, a young man drafted in the 5th round of this past year's draft from the Red Deer Red Rebels or Red Deal Rebels of the WHL Western Hockey League. Luke Vlusovic, the 6'5", 209-pound right-hand defenseman. One of them unicorn defensemen, right-hander. Defending the rush, Voluswik's mobility, stick work, and instincts shine. He catches opponents with his feet, moving after waiting for them to enter his space, never overextending. He excels at tying up opponents and taking them into the wall, mobilizing them and freeing possession shoulder, and attacks the inside. Listen, if you can get me a 6'5", 200, and hopefully by the time he makes it to the NHL, about 20-pound right-hand defenseman with stick ability and speed, where do I sign? This is a definite no-brainer in the 5th round of any draft year to pick up a player like this. He's got nothing but upside. There's nothing but reward with this guy. It doesn't work out, big deal. It's a 5th round pick. But if you can cultivate from a 5th round draft pick, a 6'5", 220-pound right-hand defenseman to be into an NHL defender or into an NHL player, you have struck gold. So far through the first 23 games of this season, he's got 9 goals, 14 assists for 23 points and a +9 for Red Deer. So yeah, big time upside on this kid. I remember when they picked him. Definitely okay with this pick. If you can find somebody out there that can actually not be a stick out there, but can fly around the ice and throw that height and weight around, I'm on board. So tonight's Flyer prospect, a no-brainer, a win-win as a 5th rounder, Luke Voluswik, the 6'5", 209-pound right-handed defenseman currently playing for the Red Deer Rebels of the Western Hockey League. And that segment was brought to you by the Happy Valley Huddle. Penn State, the ultimate in Penn State post-game entertainment. It will finish up its final year this Saturday as Penn State will host Clemson in the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium. Join Mike Laro and the rest of the Happy Valley Huddle crew as they will break down the X's and O's of today's Penn State game. And it will be their final episode of the 2025 season. Much to the chagrin of Mike Laro. I think we were all just hoping it would go away. But nope, they have a chance. They have a chance to end this nightmare season on a positive. Hopefully they do. And then this week, we do have Flyers action. They are in front of the holiday break. The holiday break will come Tuesday night after their game in Chicago, as I will have that call. Mike has you tomorrow, so we're going to go back-to-back Monday and Tuesday. Mike will have the call tomorrow. I will have the call Tuesday. Do they go with, what do you think, Kovaslav tomorrow? Or do you go with Urson tomorrow and Kovaslav on Tuesday? Or is Vladar clear to go? It's going to be interesting how they get into the break here on the goaltending situation. So there's the clear of the ice for the rest of your week. Just 2 games this week. I don't want Dombrowski or the Buffoon to save their jobs. Would you do it though, Mike? If you were the would you accept or would you offer a 1-year deal to a Bo Bichette for like $30 million? Would you offer him that? And would you be stupid enough to take that deal if you were the player? I mean, is that a win-win for Bichette? That's an interesting prospect here, man. $35 million for 1 year. Would you do it? Does it sound desperate for the Phillies to offer him a 1-year deal for 35 or 20, between 20 and $35 million? Does that sound desperate? Is that Andy Reid 2011 Dream Team stuff? It's an interesting thought, man. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. So we never really got into breaking down the Eagles. Let's go into the stat pack real quick. I do want to talk about the Eagles stat pack. So they were 3 for 3 in the red zone against the Commanders. 28 for 39 so far this season for 71%. Eagles only scored 7 first-half points against the Commanders. 191 first-half points on the year for about a 12.7 average. They did go off for 22 second-half points, which their second highest of the season. Now for 160 points. They are back in the double digits for second-half scoring, 10.6 points now on the year. 5 penalties for 61 yards. The march to 1,000 yards is on. They have now committed 105 penalties for 7 a game. 814 penalty yards for about 54.3. You know, when the epitaph of this season's written, penalties are going to be a big, big topic about what maybe was the problem here. They did force only 1 turnover. Just one turnover. And that was the Johnson interception. That was an interesting stat. Defense has forced 18 turnovers so far this year, 1.2 a game. They committed the one, which was the Covey turnover, first play of the game. 14 turnovers now they have committed for less than 1. Jalen got sacked 2 times for 7 yards, 31 sacks now on the season. Last year, the Eagles' offensive line gave up 45 sacks. This year, they've only given up 31 heading into week 16. I know there's been a lot of talk about the offensive line's play overall, especially when it comes to rushing, right? But they're actually, in some ways, because Jalen hasn't changed his play, and are actually throwing the ball more this year than they were last year. But yet, they've only given up 31 sacks, which is 14 less than what they've given up all of last year, and that was on a rush-heavy team. Very interesting conundrum of the offensive line. They got to Mariota / Johnson twice yesterday for 8 yards, 37 sacks now on the year for the Eagle defense. And the Eagles were once again 0 for 0 on fourth down efficiency, 11 for 18 on the year for 61 point efficient on fourth down. And that was your final word, Eagles Commanders stat pack, brought to you by the show that the stat pack was named after or was born, the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. Join me and Kyle every Thursday night at 7. Don't take that to the bank because we never, ever, I'm going to have to change that for next year. I'm just going to throw away the 7 o'clock thing because we never do it at 7. And this week, I think we're doing it on Tuesday at 4. But typically, at least once a year, it's always on Thursdays typically. But join me and Kyle every Thursday at around 7 for the Birds Blast, the quintessential and Eagle pregame show entertainment. Me and Kyle will look back at the game that just was and look ahead at the game that will be in our own unique ways. So that's the Bird Blast with Kyle Quinn. 94 WIP's very own Kyle Quinn every Thursday at around 7. Around there. But yeah. And Saquon Barkley. Kudos to Saquon for going over the 1,000-yard plateau. I don't think I can ever remember a season that I was so like, yay, 1,000 yards. Such a exciting 1,000-yard season for Saquon Barkley. It really has been. That's what happens when you come off of a 2,000-yard rushing season the year prior. But Saquon Barkley does go over the 1,000-yard mark on the season, becoming what 5th or 6th ever running back in Eagle history to go back-to-back 1,000 or more yard rushing. So congratulations to Saquon. Class act, man. I love Saquon Barkley. I really do. And of course, the big story out of Washington yesterday was the Eagles clinched the NFC East and going back-to-back, becoming the first back-to-back NFC East champion since the 03-04 Eagles did it, ending that streak of a lot of years of just no back-to-back division winners, and have locked up the playoffs, currently sitting at the 3 seed. And the big question I have, and I will have all week heading into the Buffalo game, is this a game where you want to see the Eagles compete at the highest level they possibly can against a perennial team in the Buffalo Bills? Or are you just content by saying, you know what? They're fine. Don't really care about the number 2 seed. Don't even care if we fall down to 4. I just want to get as healthy as we possibly can and keep our eyes on the major prize, which is the Super Bowl trophy. There's an argument to be said for both sides of that debate. Michael Kaepernick brought it up earlier. This Eagle offense is still not clicking completely. We're still waiting for this offense to be consistent against a consistent opponent. And we're running out of opponents before it gets really real for the playoffs. Are you wanting to see them actually be consistent and be good and competitive against a team like Buffalo? Or is the risk not worth the reward potentially for someone to get hurt long term? Quarterbacks are going down like flies, man. ACL injuries are popping up everywhere. Are you more content in just letting this thing ride out as it is and just taking our chances in the playoffs? It's an interesting debate that will continue on all week long. But, folks, we're not going to do the card tonight either. We're just going to cut this short. Tomorrow, I'll be back. We'll do card. We'll do the hot stove. We'll do all that tomorrow. I'm trying to fill up some time. But we'll do that tomorrow. But remember, here on the network, this is your lineup for the week. Tomorrow, we got the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight program, myself at 9 with the final word, and then Flyers, Canucks, clear the ice at post-game time. So make sure that you're here and all the great stuff that we got coming up on the network this week. It's Christmas week, and we're happy to be here. We're going to take you all the way up through into Christmas. I'll be back on Christmas Day. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. And we'll continue this thing rolling. So until we talk again tomorrow night, you guys enjoy the rest of your winter solstice. Happy winter solstice, by the way. First day of winter, shortest day of the year. It all starts headed in the right direction tomorrow as we start gaining a minute of sunlight a day. Closer to the base, one step closer to the baseball season. That's all you got to keep remembering. Until we see each other tomorrow, you guys have a good night. See ya.